New Pokemon Winds and Waves rumors are suggesting that we're going to get a bunch of new regional evolutions for some classic Pokemon. And this is kind of interesting. I want to break this down in a couple different ways and actually take a look at what these Pokemon could look at based on like what their dex entries say and what these Pokemon really are. So yeah, Winds and Waves is based on, or it seems like the Generation 10 map, the playable location, region, is going to be based on Indonesia, Southeast Asia. I'm sure you've heard this, but this is really cool. And it's cool for a couple different reasons. For one, the claim here that Onix, Houndour, Zweilous, Salandit, Nincada, and Clamperl may receive new regional evolutions. That's kind of the interesting thing here. They're regional evolutions. This is kind of interesting because I don't think we've really seen this. Okay, what that means is that there's a couple things here. For one, what this means, a regional evolution would be Onix evolving into a different Pokemon specific to this region. It would not be evolving into a regional Steelix. And the thing that's interesting about this is that the only time we've ever seen regional evolutions before, unless this is just a mistranslation of like information, we've never seen this before. Every single time a Pokemon gets a new regional evolution, it evolves from a regional form of a familiar Pokemon. So like Obstagoon is a regional evolution that evolves from a regional form of Lanoon, right? We've also seen Cubone, base form Cubone or base form Execute, evolving into a regional form of Executor or Marowak, right? We've seen that, but we've never seen a base Pokemon evolving into a regional evolution. So I kind of want to chew on this a little bit today. Onix, I guess we could just get right into it. This is why it just gets a little bit messy. And I almost wonder if like I'm still, just for the record, I'm kind of dubious about these leaks. I think, I don't know. Did they click, Liam, did they click on this video to hear your personal opinions or some fun theories? I don't know. But like I personally, I've become more and more dubious of not the leaked information, but the confidence at which we look at these leaks, because obviously there were leaks for Legends EA that were absolutely correct for a long time. However, what was not correct was the assumptions of what those designs were actually going to be. We might know if something is going to get a new evolution, but we don't really, just because something is leaked as information, like, oh, Onix is going to get a new evolution, we don't know what it's going to look like. Even if someone said, oh, it's blue, even if they said, oh, it's going to be a black Onix color, right? We don't know what that looks like. We don't know what the application of the actual monster or the design is going to be. We don't know how, you know what I'm saying? We don't know what the strength is going to be. We don't know anything. And also some of this could be real while some of this is fake. Yeah, let me give you the perfect example. I was on vacation and I almost recorded this video a couple of days ago, and people were talking about ice type, psychic type Psyduck. And guess what? That turned out to be fake. That turned out to be, what I'm hearing now is that that's not real. That was like a meme. That was a shit post. Can I say that? And so some of this could be as well. I don't know. There's always corroborating evidence between the leakers and these people, these accounts online, but they're all anonymous, you know? And if they get something wrong, you can't be like, you can't get a coffee with it's not a friend that you can sit down and be like, hey buddy, your ego's getting out of control. Why did you lie about that? Oh, well, and then they'll be like, oh, well, I made a mistake. No, they'll just, whatever. Anyways, okay. That's Liam's personal, that's Dusty's personal opinions. Sorry about that. Let's talk about these new Pokemon. Onix, Houndour, Zweilous, Salandit. There's some really cool things here. Let's start first with, Onix, actually, because I made this Dragon Scale Evolution Onix. Draconix is what I've actually just now dubbed it. This is the design. I worked with a really good artist, Mom S Art. And this kind of came out of the idea that I just thought Onix was so cool. And playing through Pokemon games with Onix, I realized how many, as Blaze Incineroar points out, how many dragon-type moves it learns. Dragon Breath, Breaking Swipe. And it is this giant worm. It's a worm with a Y, right? It's like a dune worm. It's a dragon. It's, you ever see Tremors? It's a dragon. It's a serpent, right? It's a sand serpent. This thing is so dragon coated, and I love it. And I kind of wish, to be quite honest, Lance used one of these things like in the OG Gen 1. That would have been really, really cool, because to me, this thing has always been dragon coated. So I made this dragon type evolution. Dragon and ground type is what I classified it as. I'm actually going to be making some new videos on the main channel and on the studio channel, because I made this in 3D, and so I'm going to have some cool whatever. There'll be some more content coming out about this thing, but I think this is really interesting also because I based this design on erosion, which is something that we're going to be seeing in Generation 10 with the power of nature, affecting the environment, affecting the Pokemon. And to be quite honest, it also reminds me of the icy Crystal Onix, the fabled Crystal Onix from the anime. And I do think this is another opportunity for us to maybe get an Onix evolution that is based on either maybe a dragon scale, maybe whatever the Crystal Onix is. Maybe it becomes pure rock type and it's based on like crystallized or geodes or something. Alternatively, what's really cool, and I actually don't have it up right here, but Onix's Dex entry talks about how, I should pull it up. Onix, let's see if this pulls up. What's really cool is Onix's Dex entry, and I noticed this because I'm using it in Leaf Green right now, and it says, let's see, as it grows, the stone portions of its body harden to become similar to black-colored diamonds. Obviously, Onix is named after Onyx, the gemstone, which is this like black stone, right? Let's see if we can pull this up. Onix with a Y, which also, if you spell anything with a Y, you're a dragon. I'm watching House of the Dragon right now. That's what it is. Onix is a form of chalcedony, a quartz mineral characterized by alternating parallel bands of color, most famously black and white. Black and white confirmed. Oh, this is cool. Comes from the ancient Greek word onyx, meaning claw or fingernail, referencing the translucent nail-like appearance. And so, if we were to take a look at what this... Oh, that's so cool. So, if this is what it happens to look like, man, that is so, so cool. This is stunning. I think we could get an evolution for Onix that looks like Onix, like the literal Onix, right? The crystal, right? And that is just actually so sick. And I just cracked the code, and I gotta commission this. You know what this also looks like? A water snake. Those water, black and white water snakes. I gotta make this before. I bet Hoops and Hip Hop is working on this already. The Sea Crate. That is what Onix is going to evolve into, a Sea Crate. I don't have enough time to make this. I feel like someone else is gonna make this. Onix is gonna evolve into an Onix water sea snake. It's gonna be water and rock type. It's going to be, it's gonna be swimming around in the ocean, and that's gonna be crazy. Look at that, the black and white coloration. That is so cool. All right, I'm taking way too long on this. I wanted to showcase this dragon evolution. I just thought it was cool. But Onix has so much potential, and I love this. I think this is a lot of fun. All right, let's move on. We got Zweilous here. This is the hostile Pokemon. It's this little dragon. It's got 2 heads. It's called the hostile Pokemon. It's dragon and dark type. It evolves into Hydreigon, which is this like monstrosity. And I don't know what this thing could evolve into. I really don't. I think they could do a lot of fun things here. I don't know what this could evolve into. It could evolve, I guess, as an alternative. If it's a regional evolution, it could evolve into something with multiple heads that are, where Hydreigon is like, it's like a plague. It's the war Pokemon. One head remains and the other 2 are puppets, right? This is like Getsis. Hydreigon is like Getsis incarnate, right? It's a dictator, right? It is a supreme overlord, and its minions, right, are puppets. They're dead essentially. They're useless. There's one head at the top and it rules everything. But I think what would be cool for Zweilous is to evolve in a way where there are multiple heads, and it could stay a little silly. I like multiple-headed Pokemon. I think we could see an evolution for Zweilous that is like, like if Hydreigon is totalitarianism, Zweilous is socialism or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the union. It's the democracy. You know. I think we could do something cool with this, and instead of flying, I don't know. Maybe it still flies. Maybe it swims. It's easy to think in Gen 10 anything could really just swim. But the dex entries say, to be honest, I actually like reading the most recent dex entries because I imagine if a Pokemon is going to get a new evolution, I would imagine that there could be hints or new pieces of evidence in the most recent dex entries. So in Scarlet and Violet, it says the two heads do not get along at all. If you don't give each head the same amount of attention, they'll begin fighting out of jealousy. So what happens if you give each head the most amount of attention, right? The two heads have different likes and dislikes. Because the heads fight with each other, Zweilous gets stronger without needing to rely on others. So I think it's what happens if Zweilous has to rely on others. And it's going to evolve in a way where it's got multiple heads. This thing could be pretty funny. We've got Houndour. This is a Generation 2 Pokemon. This could be very cool to see this thing getting a new evolution. It's another dark type. It's dark and fire. It's just called the Dark Pokemon. It's that's almost a little uninspired. Let's see here. It uses different kinds of cries for communicating with others of its kind and for pursuing its prey. To corner prey, they check each other's locations using barks that only they can understand. Around dawn, its ominous howl echoes through the area to announce that this is its territory. So I'm imagining they could do a day and a night thing where it's like if Houndour evolves in the day, it's not a devil dog, but it's maybe a holy dog, right? It goes to it goes to heaven. All dogs go to heaven. I think there could be something there. It conveys its feeling using different cry. Around dawn, their ominous howls echo through the area to announce their territory. I'm not really seeing too much. I'm just seeing pack-like behavior. But I think there's some cool things they could do with this. It is a devil dog. It's supposed to be from the underworld. They could give it a ghost type. It's very loyal to you as a trainer. Repeated eerie howls before dawn to call attention to the packs. Interesting. There's also some connections here I'm noticing. I mean, it's a fire dog Pokemon, but this is also reminding me a lot of Ponbon. So maybe there could be some connections there. We got Salandit, the toxic lizard Pokemon. Salandit only evolves if it's female, and I think what people are suggesting, this would just feel right. Salandit evolves into a new type of monitor lizard, which could be, it might not be, but it could be a Komodo dragon. Everyone's talking about the Komodo dragon in Gen 10. I think a male Salandit could evolve into a Komodo dragon, except Komodo dragons, here's the thing, I think Salandit is still only going to evolve if it's female, because what I learned is that, from what I heard, you can fact check me on this, is that Komodo dragons can actually reproduce without the opposite sex. I think Komodo dragons, if I'm not mistaken, the female Komodo dragons can actually reproduce and live on, right, without the males. I don't know how they do that. Honestly, fact check me. But it would make sense. And everyone's like, oh, what's the male evolution going to be? Because Salazzle is a very, let's say, lusty. It's a very lusty design. And so everyone's like, oh, the male version will be like a Hitmonchan. That's cool, right? It'll be a Mogger, right? But I think what is probably more likely is Game Freak Double Downs, and we get a Salandit evolution that only evolves when it's a female, but it evolves into something that is a poison dragon type or something, right? Komodo dragons have like very venomous, saliva or whatever. So poison dragon type, that's kind of cool. I think to me, that feels like a lock-in. It could be another type of, it really could resemble a Komodo dragon, but it could also just be a different type of monitor lizard, which is very similar. A large lizard, long neck. There's one that honestly would look a lot like Salandit. There's a monitor lizard that I've seen before where the top of its head looks a lot like a snake's head, which is kind of cool. And I think that would match up with... That could make for an interesting Pokemon. And Salandit's head is also right now it is very narrow as is. So that's what that feels like a safe bet. I love this idea of Nincada getting a new evolution. It is the trainee Pokemon. Love this idea. And also, I never even realized it's called the trainee. I used this Pokemon one time in Gen 3, and it was a lot of fun. If you don't know, Nincada is a bug and ground type. It's based on a cicada. And as it evolves at level 20, it'll evolve into Ninjask, which is, it gains its wings. It becomes bug and flying type. A little underwhelming. But if you have an extra Pokeball and an extra slot in your party, the Husk, the iconic, the Husk, like the exoskeleton, right, that it sheds, that Nincada sheds, right, which I don't know if you've ever known. I mean, I've found these around the area before, around where I live. You can find these skins, these cicada skins lying around. That becomes a brand new Pokemon. So one Pokemon literally evolves to become two separate Pokemon, which is really cool, especially for Generation 3. And if it gets a new evolution, I don't know what they do with this. If this is really weird. If Nincada receives a regional evolution, I don't know what this looks like, right? Does Nincada, you know what? Actually, maybe it's not that crazy. Nincada evolves into Ninjask, no problem. But if you're in this region with a Pokeball, with an extra slot in your party, you get a new Shedinja that actually has like an upgraded ability, right? It'll have 1 HP, but maybe it can't be affected by like weather. Maybe it can't be affected. That actually would make the most sense. Because Winds and Waves is all about the weather conditions. The gimmick has to do with the weather, supposedly. And so, Shedinja's biggest flaw, it has 1 HP, but it can only be damaged by super effective moves. But the thing is, it can be hit by residual effects like sandstorm, hail, right? Recoil. But what if it had an ability that reduced that and got rid of that? I think that could be something that we see. I want to take a look at the dex entries because this Pokemon is so interesting. It grows underground, sensing its surroundings using antennas instead of its virtually blind eyes. It can sometimes live underground for more than 10 years. It absorbs nutrients from the roots of trees. Because it lived almost entirely underground, it is nearly blind. It uses its antennas instead. Okay, I'm going to go back. I think actually Nincada is going to get a new evolution where it never leaves the earth, and it'll be bug and ground type, and it'll be walking around on land. And it will not evolve into Ninjask. That's what I think. I think it will not evolve into Ninjask. If it stays underground for 10 years, then it evolves, and that's good. Clamperl, honestly, low-key, it's pretty high on my tier list. Clamperl's pretty high on my tier list. The bivalve Pokemon. Clamperl's actually really cool. Clamperl's like low-key, kind of like it's like an early, it's like one half of a convergent Pokemon. Clamperl, right? It's the bivalve Pokemon. It says it's supposed to look like a clam, but what's interesting is that this is Pokemon, and the thing that looks like the little creature, actually, yeah, the thing that looks like a little creature, a little pearl, is actually an egg. So it's a little egg. It's like a fish egg, right? It's a fish egg inside of a clam that it uses for protection because the little egg needs protection so it doesn't get squashed, right? Or eaten. And then that egg evolves into either Huntail or Gorbis, right? It's not a pearl, but it evolves into one of these deep sea creatures. And I think we could get a new evolution that again evolves into one of these water snakes. These two fish, they're like eels. I think we could see another evolution that's a little bit different. Or we get a Clamperl evolution that actually evolves into a clam. that actually evolves into some sort of like, yeah, that actually evolves into some sort of clam, and it has that clam shell as protection. That's what I think. I'm loving these rumors. These are super fun. There's so many different ways that you could take all these ideas. These are just some initial thoughts about these Pokemon. However, I'm sure whatever we get is going to, if these are real, whatever we actually get, it would probably take a lot of inspiration. The designs would take a lot of inspiration from the Generation 10 region. But let me know what you think. Do you think these ideas make any sense? Are any of these your favorites? Regional evolutions are kind of cool, because to be honest, regional evolutions, I consider Girafarig a regional evolution. That's actually crazy. No. You know what? I was saying regional evolution this whole time. There might be a translation issue or in this game of telephone, maybe they're not regional evolutions. Maybe these are just brand new evolutions that these Pokemon get. They're branched evolutions for some of them. Actually, for all of them. But, yeah, maybe these are just new evolutions. These are new cross-gen evolutions, like Bellossom to Vileplume. I think that's great. Let me know what you think. Subscribe for more Fakemon videos, for more discussions about new Pokemon, and check out some of the other videos I did. I have covered more of this new batch of leaks. I got a bunch of theories on the channel. A bunch of videos talking about new games that we might see in the future. Yeah, this is yeah. Okay, that's it. Bye.